This is your NBC Action News Station. It's 10 a.m. Time for your everyday getaway. Kansas City Live. Now, here are Meredith Haynes and Brett Anthony.
So if you're getting married, do you have the best reception ever planned?
Peter Mary is known as the fun wedding guy, and he wrote the book on the subject. Good morning, Peter.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming in.
You're the fun wedding guy. What makes you the fun wedding guy?
Well, I've been providing entertainment at weddings for about 15 years, and the one thing I hear from my couples all the time is that their friends and family had so much fun at their wedding, and that made a huge difference for them because that's what they really wanted.
Well, at the end, after your wedding, you should be ready to party. You should be ready to have fun and start to celebrate and not be so stressed.
It's true.
The reception doesn't have to be perfect, like many brides think the wedding should be.
That's very true, but one of the overlooked details is brides are taught how to decorate their day and how to dress their day, but nobody's really told them how to enjoy it and how to make sure it's going to be paced well and make sure their guests are actually going to have a really fun time while they're there.
So you say a successful reception needs tackled in 3 parts.
That's right.
What's the first part?
The first part is building the right team, and that's choosing the vendors you're going to hire and considering your budget constraints and things of that nature to put together a team that's going to help you create the kind of event you want. Because a lot of times people will look at a location, for instance, and they'll go, this is a beautiful room, but if they don't consider the way the room's laid out, it could have a big impact on whether or not their guests are actually going to feel a part of what's happening.
If it's too crowded?
And, well, that could be one option.
Or
but
posts in the room.
Exactly.
I find that
right.
annoying when you get stuck behind the post and you can't see them cut the cake or...
Right, blocking sight lines. Hey, well, imagine a room where they're seated around the corner and half the guests can't see the toast. Then they feel disconnected to what's happening, right?
Yeah.
But if a bride isn't taught to think about that ahead of time, it might look like a nice room on the onset, but then when the actual moment arrives, people feel disconnected from what's happening, and then they feel like leaving early.
Okay, what about part 2?
Part 2 is all about building the right agenda, and that's really where you can deal with scripting the event so that it'll flow smoothly and the guests will have a good time. Rather than just focusing on the image, we're going to focus on the experience. Let's find ways to put things together so the guests consistently stay entertained and are never sitting there wondering what's going to happen next or why things seem to just be rushing along. It just should flow smoothly.
Kind of like the whole bouquet throw, the cutting the cake, the father-daughter dance, those types of things?
Right, but
okay.
knowing where to schedule them and how to schedule them for your region. Weddings are different all over the country.
Yeah, exactly.
And people are used to different kinds of wedding celebrations depending on their region.
But you don't want to put so much as we have to do this at 3:45
right.
or 4 o'clock. You just... In order.
Well, what you can do is you can build a timeline that has a suggestion of where we're going to go, but you need to build in the flexibility to be able to change things if needed, if things aren't working for some reason.
So when Aunt Gertrude corners you and you're 10 minutes behind the bouquet throw.
Right.
You're okay.
And the reality is if the guests are having fun, nobody will ever feel like we're 10 minutes behind.
Okay.
Right?
All right. Part 3 is adding personal style, and there's a couple of things that you want to also add to this, right?
Well, when it comes to personal style, brides are being taught today in all the magazines and books on how to add their personal style to the colors and the dresses and the favors and all those different features of their wedding, but they haven't been taught how to add their personal style to the actual entertainment. And that could be things as simple as a centerpiece giveaway. We've got some beautiful flowers here today, and a lot of times on weddings, they have those set at a centerpiece on a table, and we'll give them away to a guest.
Yeah.
In the book, I cover about 6 different ways that you can give those away that get the guests feeling involved instead of sitting on the sidelines wondering when they get to have fun.
Oh,
Okay.
what about this playing games thing?
Well, I don't call them games. I call them opportunities for building connection. Because when people think of a game, they think of a bar mitzvah, and maybe they think of people running all over the place and maybe doing something a little silly. What I'm talking about is something as simple as maybe having the guests write on cards their suggestions for the bride and groom on how to have a long and happy marriage. And then you have the table compare their ideas, and whoever has the most creative idea, they win the centerpiece. But then those are delivered to the MC, who will read them aloud for everybody to hear. And it makes it very entertaining and engaging, but the audience participated.
Oh, I like that.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
It really can be. And when it's done right, at the end of the night, the guests walk out of the reception saying, that was the best wedding reception ever.
Cool.
Hey, you have several appearances, and one is at Starbucks. And tell us why. What do you want to do at Starbucks?
I'm going to be presenting at Starbucks in Overland Park, right across from the Sprint Complex on Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. And part of the reason why I'm going to the Starbucks is because Starbucks offers brides and grooms 55,000 drink options for coffee. 15 years ago, their options were cream or sugar, right?
Yeah.
And what I'm trying to do with my book is give them all the options that are available to them to make their day as entertaining as possible, too. So I'm going to tie in what Starbucks is doing that's made them successful and show how they can apply those same principles to making their wedding reception successful as well.
Peter,
He is
thanks
the
so
fun
much.
wedding guy. Peter Mary, thanks a lot. You can check our website, NBCActionNews.com, for a complete list of where Peter's going to be at this weekend. Several appearances at Metro stores and coffee houses.
And a special thank you to Craig Soul Designs. He provided the beautiful centerpiece for us today. A great example of what could plan, or you could plan on for your table. It's gorgeous.
Oh, they smell fantastic, too.
All right. Hey.